I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is Stoneblock 4. So now I think today, back in the Stoneblock 4 world, we should be able to make infinity ingots. That's right. I think at this point, we are going to be entering into what is going to be considered the creative age. Last episode, we made ourselves the infinity singularity, which combined all kinds of different materials. And this is crafted inside the world engine and is going to be utilized in order to make infinity catalysts, which ultimately will allow us to make those infinity ingots, which are needed for our world engine to prevent it from a collapse. Apparently, by putting I don't know, a black hole inside the world engine, it wasn't a good thing, a good decision. And I don't want to end up like all of the other echoes. So we've got to fix that. We need a block of the infinity ingots by the end of today's episode. But last episode, I did a few other things. We now have Fortron infused ingots being produced separately. We don't have to use a world engine to be able to do that. And same for the Enderium ingots. We don't have to use a world engine to make those either. We're also producing all kinds of other stuff too, which is very, very nice. So over here, I have my infused ender pearls. We also have, if I say it right, the Energirite ingots. And then over here, I also have my uraninite being produced. And just so we're caught up, all of my singularities that are needed for those things are being handled right here with a little bit of AE logistics that's going on. We have some redstone that is essentially turning off these export buses, so we only keep 72 inside of our main AE system. And this is about the only way with AE that you can regulate items inside of your own storage without using something like functional storage, for example, externally. All right, now enough of me blabbering on. Let's actually get to work on making these infinity ingots. And something that I do want to mention is we should probably automate time fluids separate from our requester system that we currently have that is keeping about 250 buckets in stock. And the reason why I want to do this is because we are going to need a lot of these if we want to craft these at any reasonable speed. To make an infinity catalyst, it costs 10 buckets of time fluid. And for each infinity ingot, we need a total of 8 of these infinity catalysts. So what I want to do is separate my current system, and I want to do my own reaction chambers here. So I'm going to have a separate reaction chamber that is going to go right here, and we'll tap in with some AE to fill this with water. And then we're also going to turn that into polyfluid, which we can then just send directly into this chamber. And all we have to do for this is just give it time crystals, and that automates time fluid. Now, these do need power from our AE system, and I'm going to also throw in some upgrades here, not put the upgrades in there. Let's make sure all of these are in there to go as fast as possible. I think my big limiting thing is going to be crafting, let's see, for the poly fluid, or just higher things fluid, we are going to need the catalyst, right? And this is going to cost blaze gold. And so keeping a constant amount of blaze gold in stock, I mean, this will eventually build up and I think we'll be completely fine. But yes, we need to get exporters on the back. So let's go ahead and start with that. Not precise. I just need regular export buses. All right. So we're getting everything going. Thankfully, water is going to be pretty easy. Now, power needs to be carried up, and just making sure that I'm giving power to this from our AE cable, that makes this so much easier. I think we could power it externally, but I really want to make sure that this gets powered like this. Now, nothing is going to be, I mean, it's not going to be that difficult, I think, to send this automatically over. So inside of here, we can put a crafting upgrade just to make sure it auto crafts those polys. And I already have the poly auto crafted. So we'll take that and then also some water. Make sure this is set to scheduling mode. And then we'll drag in the water and drag in the catalyst. And because of that crafting upgrade, that's going to automatically craft that and place it in here. And that should start making that fluid. Or at least I think it will. Yes, there it goes. Just takes it a second. And we have to wait for this to build up. Put some speed upgrades in there. And that water should hopefully start going in, yeah, much, much faster. Look at that polyfluid building up already. Now to transfer it over, I mean, I could use a very interesting solution to this, and that is by placing a storage bus on here, and we can create a little sub network. So already this is connected up, but what we want is an export bus on this. So that way this little network, if we connect it together with some quartz fiber, we just want to give it some power. And so if we connect it like this little subnet should be able to export this poly polymorphic fluid. So let's grab into just our things, polymorphic fluid. And if we export this, that polymorphic fluid is actually going to get pulled from here because that is this little network's storage. So it's acting as a tank, and then this is just simply pulling it out. And if we throw speed upgrades in here, it's going to make sure that goes pretty quick. Look at that. That is some beautiful AE artwork right here. And then for this side, for the time fluid, we'll go into the back and time crystals, which are fully automated now with our chicken. That just needs to be inserted into the back, and time fluid will be automatically generated. That is beautiful right there. Now, we do want to automatically send this time fluid out somewhere, and that's where we can auto export it. You can see right here, auto export, and we can choose where, and I'm just going to send it into the functional storage down below. That's going to fill up, and we can make sure we have a ton of it in stock. And so we just throw a few upgrades in here, and there we go. We are storing as much time fluid as this will hold, which is like a lot. 663,000 buckets. That's a lot of buckets. That, my friends, is time fluid automation, at least in this pack, that allows you to do it not being in world, which is really nice. I really do like this reaction chamber recipe they added. This is fantastic. With the time fluid flowing in just like that, I mean, we're already at like 6,000 buckets. That should be plenty enough to get started with actually making the catalyst. So everything that we are going to need for this is right here for the world engine. Now, the Indorus Pearl is another world engine craft. And so all of these items we do have in stock via chickens. And then also we have the neutronium. Neutronium is the only thing I'm thinking about potentially having my chickens automatically deposit into a compacting drawer. I think that might be better than doing the auto crafting right now. There's so many that's built up in one of the drawers already. But yeah, that would kind of save us some time. That's because up to this point, I mean, most of the thing, like I haven't even upgraded my AE auto crafting. I haven't even moved it to extended. I have been using just base regular AE for this. And I mean, while it is keeping up with most things I need, I mean, it could be even faster, but I don't even think there's a real need at the moment. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be swapping this. Oh, not this one, neutronium out. We get that put in there. Yeah, that has compacting drawer functionality. Perfect. That will work so much better. Now, I don't think I need to do this. Yeah, it looks like I literally just placed it in and it just automatically started functioning. But if you do ever encounter any issues like this, you can always hit rebuild cable network cache, and it's going to rebuild the whole cable network just to make sure that functions. Yeah, that's going to store so much better. Now I've got to transfer all of them from here into that. Yeah, we can use a pipe. So I've tossed in a little pipe upgrade in here. You know, we can slap that there, and that was all moved incredibly quick. Just disregard. Yeah, that was fast. And I also went ahead and did the same thing for the shards. I think that's going to make auto crafting a lot easier for us. Man, I should do it for all the ingots as well, but I'm not going to worry about those. Now, a lot of the logistics are kind of handled here. We have some things going, and I can make the infinity catalyst. So that was what we just set up. But even though we can make the infinity catalyst, it doesn't mean we can make the infinity ingot just yet, because we are missing a few things for the infinity ingot. One, I would probably like to have like crystal ingots possibly auto crafted and keep some of these in stock for these crafts too, just to make it a little bit easier on my AE system. So having these in stock would be a good idea. But also we need stable antimatter to be able to progress. And so this is going to mean a particle accelerator, which we already have, and we need the ability to keep a certain amount of these in stock too. And so this should be a rather easy task. It only requires 5,000 joules. We just need to get our AE system in the compact machine, or we can take our entire setup out of the compact machine and actually put it in our world now that I know that it's a little bit safer. And we could possibly have it maybe in the center of our Auratech room. That could possibly fit. Yeah, I mean, we could create a platform that's raised up too, just in case, so we don't destroy any of our blocks. You know what? This is going to be perfect. I'm taking all of this out of here. You know what's fun? I don't even need to know how it was made. It's so easy to get this thing set up. I'm just gonna remake it. Like it's that easy to build. And so I built out a platform, and I've raised this up a little bit and have some connecting brackets going all the way up to the top using some more metal girders. And this is now lifted up off the ground, which I think looks a little bit better. Might need to add some framing out to the bottom here, but here we go. We do have a particle accelerator here, and I put these on the inside instead of the outside now. And so originally this was flipped around and it would shoot to the right and spin in this direction where it goes to the right and continues around. It's going to do the same thing here, but from this direction. It's going to shoot to the right. So it's actually going to be now spinning in the opposite direction, which isn't going to really change anything. It just means that this is the one that's going to be the sender, and this for me will be the one that is the receiver. Now I just have to link this together. So I make sure this is shift right clicked to set that, and then shift right click onto the magnetic field. And that should be exactly what we need. Now, some bad things that could happen. Particles could get shot and would break any block in this direction, shooting through the walls. Particle could shoot through this direction, hitting anything that is in its path, potentially shooting through this wall. And the same happens on any other coordinate. But it would probably only be on this outer face since it is going to be only spinning in this way. So it'll shoot out here, could shoot out this way, could shoot out this way, shoot out this way, and it could also shoot straight this direction, which could be bad. Thankfully, we don't have Mekanism over there, but it could also shoot this direction, which I think is Mekanism, which could irradiate the base. Pretty dangerous, honestly. Like there's some nasty things that can happen. We could prevent this though by using some dark matter blocks that I have been told can prevent these beams from shooting out. But it is going to get in the way of this, and any block that's in the way of this will kind of break some things. I'm going to just trust that this is going to work. You know what? Just to be careful, I think on this side, I'm going to follow the particle line where this would technically go. I'm going to keep following this, and I am going to place in some dark matter right over here just to make sure that we don't break through this wall temporarily. Like, it would be really bad if I accidentally broke through this wall. Yeah, and I think that lines up perfectly there. Yeah, that should hit one of these dark matter blocks and not go through the wall. The main thing I'm worried about is just hitting anything Mekanism related. Like, just don't do that. So now I have my dropper set up and I have my link set, and I do have it shift right clicked onto here. The position is now saved. And we want to set this to 5,000 for what we're about to do. Not 15, 5, and then make sure that is saved. And it's essentially looking at this particle accelerator. When it sees that it has hit 5,000, it'll send that redstone signal. And we just got to supply both of these with those materials and make sure we're auto collecting the materials whenever this is done. How am I going to do this? Man, there's a lot going into this. Okay, so I've kind of got an idea here. To be able to automate this, we can put a drawer actually on the bottom. And this is going to be the drawer that is going to hold those antimatter pellets. And then we can use like a puller upgrade that is set to the up. Place that in. That is going to automatically pull out the product that is finished inside of here. Now with our AE system, all we're going to have to do is basically send this with the antimatter or send it with the neutronium. I think that's in EU. The neutronium. Yeah, we just need to send this with the neutronium, and that should be able to allow us to automate the stable antimatter. I'm hoping this process goes just as easy as I'm thinking. I'm running the cables down, and so we'll have two exporters, an exporter here and here. This will be for antimatter. So we'll take the antimatter pellets. That's going to go in there, and then on this one is just going to be the neutronium ingots. And fingers crossed everything is set up, because as soon as I put this in here, this will start functioning. Okay, and I believe it is working. You can see the speed accelerating. This shouldn't use too much power. And once that hits 5, there we go. It fired. And then this automatically pulled out. Ah, and beautiful, down here we have them. Okay, and I mean, all we got to do now is just simply lock this like so, and then add it to our drawer network. And this is going to automatically limit, by the way, the amount this produces. It will stop producing and shouldn't produce any more after this has completely filled up, because if there is an item that is not able to go down into here, then it won't start another set. So, I mean, that's technically automated. All right, so that is basically every problem, I think, solved to be able to make infinity ingots. I mean, everything in here we do have. I mean, neutronium, we can always tick accelerate if we need the actual chicken here. I mean, the matrix crystals. Oh, that was the other thing. Matrix crystal automation. I mean, this should be really simple for us to just set up. Yeah, you know what? We'll just go ahead and do that real quick. That'll save us on auto crafting time. We'll just do another crafter, much like we did over here. I'm going to go ahead and tap that in on this side. And inside the crafter, I mean, this is about as simple as it gets. Not even kidding. These are all of the items that we're going to need, just 3 of these. And so I'm going to go ahead and just make sure all of these slots, I know you could fill the whole thing up, but believe me, it just makes it so much easier if you just set it up like this. And then we'll make sure to take these items and use them on our exporter. We'll build our first recipe, which is going to be this one right here. Set it to put to the internal buffer. And then after that, we will take the nether stars, combine those together, and then it'll go to the export, which will automatically pull out. And that is going to go down here. Okay, so now exporter, throw that in, throw some speed upgrades in there, and we'll put in our 2 items that are needed in order to craft these things. And we just need to give this some power. There's the power, and then we'll put a puller card, and that is going to start storing those very, very nicely. Once AE starts to ramp up, and we'll start producing these pretty quick. Now with all of that, it's time. Yeah, it's definitely time. We can start making some catalysts, and I tested this out just a little bit, made my first infinity catalyst, and I realized that this is a pretty slow process. It has to make all of these individual components, and it needs quite a bit of power, but I think it's the power amount that is kind of the problem, like the RF per tick. And so it just takes like time to be able to make this. Not that like I'm running into power issues. I have it bypassed and like it can feed it. It's just that it has an RF per tick rate, which is kind of unfortunate. Like this, for example, needs 36 million FE, but we can only feed it a maximum of 150 RF per tick. So the only way we're going to be able to make this faster and allow this to craft at a more reasonable rate is by tick accelerating it in some form. And we do have soul surging, and I think soul surging might be the best so long as I can actually power this thing externally. And I think I'm only going to be able to fit like maybe 2 power surges on here. I mean, we could get rid of the encased fan, but it's going to be really hard for me to get soul surging stuff down into here. I don't think that I can do that. Maybe I can if I attach to a cable down here. We'll have to give this a shot. But let's do the entangled block first. I want to make an entangled block, and I don't know if my entangled wrench is actually in here. It is. Perfect. We have the entangler. So we shift right click, and I'm going to set my block up here, and this will give me access to the world engine. So hopefully I can power it from here. So I'll put my point up here, and is it connected? It is. Okay, so I would assume that that allows this to now be powered. I don't think we can heat this from here. If we can, that would be fantastic too. So you know what? Let's see. Does the heat get carried into this from here? We'll notice if that is depleting, and it looks like it is going up. It's definitely, the heat is going up. Okay, so yeah, that seems to be working, right? It looks like, yeah, the heat rate, everything is going as planned. Okay, so that saves us another space, so we can have our heater up here instead. And yeah, I mean, that at least gives us the ability to have 3 speed upgrades on here. So soul surges. So you know what? Let's get the soul surges in here. And I mean, one of them I don't think is going to be enough, but having at least 3 on here, I mean, that should be a pretty reasonable amount. Now, we do have to have an interface up here, and we basically click on here. That's going to give us our souls. And then we can just connect in our pipes and run that up. And now our world engine is going to be a little bit faster. I think these do 4 times the speed. And I believe they will add to each other. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Okay. So we just seen how fast the catalyst can craft. So let's craft one more catalyst and see, is this significantly faster? It is a little bit faster. A little bit faster. How much power are we drawing? We're only drawing 150 though still, which is exactly the amount that we were pulling before. As if this isn't helping at all. Wonder, is the souls even getting to these? Like, is the souls not working? I feel like they should be. Maybe I might want to branch this out a little bit more. And maybe we can branch this just to make sure that these are getting the souls. I mean, I'm going to keep going for it. Let's see. Is it... Oh, that seemed a little faster. Oh, that was definitely faster. Ah, interesting. I wonder if there was some sort of issue with, like, it not going fast enough. How much are we pulling? Still only 150, though. Interesting. I honestly, I can't even tell if the soul surging is helping at all. I don't think it is. And interesting, whenever you basically tick accelerate with the time wand, the machine just errors out and it doesn't work at all. Huh. So I guess we are stuck with that base speed because of the rate. Interesting. Well, actually, no, like it did craft the catalyst. I'm so confused. It just shows that it errors. I really don't know at this point. Yeah, I am honestly under the assumption that this isn't helping at all, and we don't even need the soul surge. Like it doesn't seem like it's making it any faster. And I mean, if there was ways to speed this up, I would love to do that, but we don't have any other way to speed it up. It is quite literally just waiting. Like using a watch of flowing time, for example, it just shuts the machine off. Who knows? Maybe this will get fixed in like a future update, or at least I hope so, because whew, that is something else. That is something else. But after all of that and all of that time waiting, I now have at least 9 of these that I'm able to now turn into a block. Bam. Okay. So we now have the infinity block. Give me something good. Oh boy. Oh wait, did it just give me everything from that list? That was every reward. Wait, what? What? I thought it was going to be random. What? Gift to the stones. I'm pretty sure that just gave me everything. Oh my goodness. There is so much stuff that I just got here. Okay. Throw everything here, everything here. I mean, to be fair, this is the end game basically of the pack. We just got the World Shaper. Oh my goodness. That's a crazy pick. Soul Amulet. We also got the Meat Shredder. That thing is fantastic. Watch of Flowing Time. The rest of the actual gear. Oh my goodness. All of the gear. All of the gem armor. Okay. And then Godforged Pearls. The Wolf. We also got this Skull Sword, which is fantastic. Energy Collectors. Another Temporal Pouch. Okay. That was a lot of stuff. That was a lot of stuff to get. Including like a Netherite backpack. Okay. We don't need that. We don't need Ender Pearls. Wow. I mean, but yeah, I mean, we basically completed the infinity block. I do need to make the reactor reflectors. So I do need 2 of those. Do we have everything to be able to make this? I think we do. And that we need to get together, but we're not quite there yet because we do need to go back and speak to the Echo of Infinity. Hopefully this Echo doesn't turn us into another Echo. So, moment of truth. Let's pop into here. Oh, I am so nervous because all of this work has led up to making this single block. And there's still more that we can do. It's just going to be basically waiting, I think. All right, there's our Echo. We'll complete our stage. Oh, man. And we do have some more dialogue, which is going to be kind of nice. Let's see what they have to say. Oh, boy.
You have achieved what no human before you has accomplished. The world engine is whole once more, and through it, your reality endures. Now, with the power of creation in your hands, go forth and shape the world to your will.
Shape it to my will. Very, very interesting. And shaping it we shall do. Opening up the quest, we have a few more things left to do, and then we got to talk to the Echo of Guidance again. But we do have these items that we need to submit to the World Engine. So let's go ahead and submit, and let's build this final piece. Oh my goodness. Which goes right underneath everything. And there it is. Oh boy. That is a lot of work inside of this World Engine right here. Lots and lots of blocks, lots of time spent. And that is pretty darn cool. I want to get another glimpse at this thing, by the way. All of our work has led to this moment right here. And now we have essentially unlocked the true power of this pack, in my opinion. But we still need to go speak to the guidance. So let's head back to spawn. And we need to speak to our old friend that started it all. And let's see, what do you have to say now? We complete your stage. And that is it complete. The WERK, or the work system, will be updated with more knowledge soon. Enjoy the world engine's unlimited power. It would be nice, though, if it allowed it to go faster. I mean, come on. Does it go any faster now that I've got the world engine upgrade in there? I don't know. All right. And then it says Ascension Tier 1 Ethereal. First step of Ascension is to become godlike. If you equip yourself with the strongest weapons and armor known in this dimension, prove yourself worthy of the power of creative items. Note, all items in this chapter must be completed using a task screen. Do we have to submit these items into a task screen? Wait, what? Wait, is it going to consume these items? That would be wild if it consumes the items because it gets submitted into a task screen. I really hope that's not the case. Maybe you just put them in to a task screen and it completes it like that. Oh, there's the Ascension chapter. Oh my goodness. Just when you think the mod pack ends, there's so many different things. Are these all creative items? Creative energy cells? Ah, interesting. So I'm confused. Like, we have to do these first before we can make any of these creative items? Interesting. Oh, yes, because we're not crafting these items. We're submitting these items to receive these. Oh, that makes total sense. That completely gates these creative items to quest only. That makes total sense. So now I think the final boss is ultimately just making sure we are passively producing all of these things. So with that, I'm just going to get the final thing wrapped up that I didn't fully automate, and that was the Durathium, but that is easily going to be done by making it here. So I'm just going to use alloy smelters. I think that's going to be the fastest way to do this. Platinum, and that with a crafting card and acceleration cards in there on an import-export bus, that should send the ingredients into here, and that is going to make it. And then on the machine itself, we just want to make sure that the back is set to push pull, and that should be as easy as that. And then the only other real thing to do is to have our infinity ingots set up inside of here. We no longer need the time fluid anymore, so I'm actually going to clear this out. And I think with it cleared out, we may be able to drag infinity ingots in here. I need infinity ingots on demand, or we can do infinity catalyst. I think though infinity ingots will be the way to go to have at least one, and we're going to need one. We put it in the requester. That way we set our amount to like a huge amount, and we just have a batch size of one, just so it tries to craft one. When it has the ingredients, it's going to craft it. And that way we just make sure we are passively producing them over time. Then we just let the world run and do its thing, and we should have plenty of them by the time we get to the next episode. And would you look at that? There we go. Another infinity ingot. Like I said, we'll set that in, and then we'll just set the craft size to something really large. I don't know, 2048. Just making sure the batch size is set to 1. Turn that on, and it's only going to ever craft one at a time, which will keep it nice and slow, making sure it doesn't really bog anything else down. And it'll only craft whenever things are available to craft it. So ultimately, we are now passively automating infinity ingots. And so we just have to make sure that all of these things are able to be kept up with. I think our biggest one is the Durathium. I mean, honestly, we could set up multiple layers of these, and I can just buy more of these high level capacitors. Or, I mean, nothing a little bit of soul surging won't fix. I mean, it may not have enough power for it, but it is still producing them. That, my friends, is the World Engine final tier. And we also now have access to infinity ingots. And so I guess we could say it's now to infinity and beyond, or something like that. But now, if you did enjoy today's episode, of course, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and or if you also enjoyed this entire series, We still have a couple more episodes, definitely, because I do want to make some of those creative challenges and try my hand at getting those done. I think that'd be a really, really fun thing to do. But of course, we have to wait for a bit more of this stuff because, well, we need a ton of it to make any of that gear that is required for the end game here. 16 ingots to make the sword, right? Well, like we need 16 ingots to make all pieces. That's so much. Well, the boots require 10, but still, that's just like so much AFK. I'm gonna let the world AFK, but no promises on how long this is gonna take. It's not like we're running out of things to make the ingots. It's just that the world engine takes that long to just produce these things. So if this is it, then it is it for most players. But like I said, I want to try my best, and so we're gonna have to wait and gather up that many of those ingots. And I'm hoping by having this passively run that it's just going to work overnight. And so without further ado, it's time for me to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks, well, that is going to go out to Ignis. Thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and just supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. Thank you so very much, and going above and beyond, you absolute boss. Getting access to all kinds of perks like world downloads, server access, all kinds of fun stuff like spoiler screenshot channels. There's all kinds of fun things that happen over on the Discord. So definitely be sure to check out the Discord as well if that's something you're interested in. And well, with that, guys, I'll see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.